What's up, everybody, and welcome back to Fireside Giants. I'm your host, Anthony Rivardo, joined by my co-host, Alex Wilson, and the pads came on today, ladies and gentlemen. The Giants put the pads on at day 6 of training camp. They started bashing into each other's heads. They got physical. They started tackling. It's a fun time right now at training camp for the New York Giants. John Michael Schmitz held his own against Dexter Lawrence on some snaps, but it's Dexter Lawrence. What are you going to do when that man has the pads on and he's coming at you at full strength? You're going to get walked backwards. And what else are you going to do when Trey Hawkins just continues to have an elite training camp period, even with the pads on? Everybody in the comment section said, hey, let's hold our horses with this Hawkins guy. Let's see once the pads come on. Well, they came on today, and he locked down more wide receivers all day today. So it's really exciting stuff. We're going to go ahead and dive into today's training camp standouts. But before we do all that, make sure to leave a like if you do enjoy this episode. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Ring the bell so you don't miss an episode, and comment your thoughts on the topic down below in the comment section. And if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, please make sure to leave us a 5-star review and go ahead and follow us on all of our social media channels at Fireside Giants. Without further ado, Alex, how are you doing today, my friend? And what are your thoughts on day 6 of training camp?
I'm doing great, man. I mean, look, I got a nice Moscow Mule. I'm having a good day. The Yankees didn't do jack shit, but you know how it is as a Yankee fan right now. It's not looking so good. But I'll say one thing. Trey Hawkins is bringing me back from the dead. Having a good day. Yankees making it a bad day. Trey Hawkins making it a good day again. Obvious math indicates we're doing okay. And the Giants making some good progress. Receivers showing some good stuff. Jalen Hyatt, I heard, just burned the hell out of somebody like couple, maybe half an hour ago or an hour ago before practice ended. 5 yards of separation. The guy is just fast. If you get in a straight line race with him, you're done. You're screwed. You're going to lose. Trey Hawkins, he went up against David Sills, destroyed him, destroyed Jeff Smith, I think he had a pass pick up against Isaiah Hodgins, maybe 2. He had a pass pick up against Jalen Hyatt. What is Trey Hawkins like magic or something? I don't understand what this guy did this offseason leading up to camp, but he seems to know the routes that everyone's running. I don't know what happened, because the main con of his was that he lacked experience, he lacked instincts, he lacked pre-snap knowledge, he lacked football IQ. But the guy seems to understand everything pretty damn well from my perspective. He looks like he's doing a great job of adapting and learning, and you must have soaked up that defensive playbook or whatever it must have been, or just watching film or getting ready, because the tangible traits are there. He's 6'3", ran like a 4.3 something 40-yard dash. The guy's fast as hell. He's got great length, as you can see, great athleticism. Now it's just about putting it all together and putting it on the football field and getting that experience that he so desperately needed, and he's getting it right now, and he's showcasing what he can do. 1v1 battles, he's doing a great job. People are asking on social media, can he hold up against deeper throws? If they, just 9 routes, go routes, can he catch up? The guy has 4.3 speed. The guy is freaking fast. You know what I mean? Like, he's going to be able to catch up to them. That's what makes him so special. It wasn't the agility. It wasn't the reading and mirroring routes. That wasn't what I thought he was going to be so great at. It was the catch-up speed. It was the make-up speed. It was the athletic profile. That's what I thought it was going to transition to. The Giants haven't had a 6th-round pick really pan out since like 2003 with David Tyree. That's the last guy that comes to mind. Devin Kennard. He's the guy that like had a moment. He was the Detroit Lions, was okay. He was okay, but like no one really was like above average. I mean, even David Tyree, like he had that one big moment that kind of made his entire career, but he wasn't like a great player by any means. Trey Hawkins, it's really early, and I'm not going to sit here and tell you like he's going to be a great player in the NFL, but he's trending in a good direction. If he could kind of finally be that 6th-round pick that pans out, it would be awesome. Another 6th-round pick last year that has a big role on this team, Darian Beavers, competing for that linebacker spot. So right now, the cornerbacks standing out, specifically Hawkins, couple of receivers, Jalen Hyatt balling. The offensive line got freaking destroyed today, aside from Andrew Thomas. They had 1v1 pass rush drills, and Thomas was excellent, obviously. Get paid the big money. He was dominant across the board. JMS got destroyed. Evan Neal got destroyed by Kayvon Thibodeau. Really just worked him. Josh Zudo got spun around. Oh, my God. I think he was like a dreidel. By the time that Leonard Williams was done with him, he didn't even know where he was. So it was kind of funny. But, Anthony, what are your takeaways so far? And especially with Hawkins, kind of seeing that his consistency is maintained. He's been able to do it for a couple days in a row. Sometimes people are on and off. He's been excellent every single day.
No, he's been really good throughout the entirety of training camp. And listen, you see some of these clips on social media, he's damn near running the route for the wide receiver. It's like he knows what route they're running before they even run it. But that's not the case. He's just that good in coverage right now. And it's pretty crazy to see because, like you said, I mean, this was a 6th round pick. This was a kid coming out of Old Dominion. If you guys know Old Dominion, that's where O'Shane Ximines came out of. He hasn't exactly panned out, and neither has pretty much any player that's ever been drafted out of Old Dominion. In fact, I don't think there's been more than 10 or so players that have come out of that small school. So Trey Hawkins could be the one. Maybe he's the one that gets his name etched into the history books from Old Dominion. And look, I don't want to get too far ahead of ourselves. It's only 6 days of training camp. But listen, guys, we are less than 2 weeks away from the first preseason game. 1 week and some change, and we will be watching Trey Hawkins go up against the Detroit Lions, competing with other teams' wide receivers. If he goes out there, plays with the first team probably in the preseason game, I doubt they put Adoree Jackson out there. So first team cornerbacks, likely Trey Hawkins and Deonte Banks. If he goes out there, competes, shuts down some of those opposing wide receivers, okay, then we could start to get really excited, right? Like, that's what I'm waiting for. I know that we said we were waiting for the pass to come on. What I'm really waiting for, I want to see Trey Hawkins in preseason, so that way we can feel comfortable with him going into the regular season, hopefully feeling like he could be in the starting lineup if he needs to be. Now, again, does he need to be? Will he be? Those are big question marks. Those will get sorted out by September, of course. But the idea of putting Adoree Jackson into the slot, moving Trey Hawkins and Deonte Banks out wide, it's an exciting one. It's intriguing. I know it's something that the Giants are kind of toying with right now. We'll see how it goes. But we're keeping a close eye on Trey Hawkins for sure. He's been dominant, just dominant at practice. You never saw this coming. I mean, I never saw it coming, at least. I didn't think that this 6th-round cornerback out of Old Dominion would be walking into Giants training camp, locking down players like Isaiah Hodgins and everybody else that he's gone up against. It's very, very impressive stuff, and I'm really excited by just this kid's development so far. He's a quick learner, clearly. He seems to know the playbook, seems to know his opposing receivers well, so hopefully he could just keep at it and, again, maybe make an impact at some point. Hopefully, well, definitely in the preseason, hopefully in the regular season. But when you're looking at Darian Beavers and some of these other guys as well, Alex, there are some position battles brewing. I know we just talked about Trey Hawkins at outside corner, maybe moving Adoree Jackson into the slot. But Darian Beavers battling with Micah McFadden. We're hearing a lot more about Beavers than we are with McFadden, which I think is a good sign for Beavers. I think McFadden, he showed up at OTAs. We heard a lot of good things. Apparently, he looked really, really good there. But we haven't heard too much about him during training camp. Beavers looks quick from every clip that I've seen. Definitely fully recovered from his injury last year. And I'm hearing just great things about him. But you also mentioned Joshua Zito got turned around. That's another big positional battle, right? We have linebacker 2 on defense, but we have left guard 1 on offense. Ben Bredesen, Josh Azidu, they've been rotating snaps in the first team at the left guard spot. We've even seen Bredesen take some snaps at right guard in place of Mark Lewinsky because we know that he struggled a lot last year. Is he a lock for the starting lineup? It seems like it, but potentially Bredesen could steal that spot if Joshua Azidu can step up his play. What we're hearing right now is that Azidu is still kind of going through the motions. Got to keep in mind, this kid's basically a rookie. He lost the majority of his rookie season last year with that neck injury. He couldn't stay on the field. So he's kind of in an extended rookie season right now. I cut Josh Azidu some slack, but if he can turn it around here, hopefully he's the one to win that starting job. And maybe Ben Bredesen could steal right guard from Mark Lewinsky. But Alex, what are you seeing from this offensive line? Because the pads came on today. This is the first time that we saw the pads, saw the offensive linemen really try to hold their own against the defensive line. And it sounds like the defensive line got the better of the offensive.
100%. I mean, look, the truth is that, I saw today with Joe Tippmann for the Jets, and essentially, this is a guy who a lot of people were really high on. They were saying he was like the top gun. This is an opportunity for John Michael Schmitz to kind of showcase the fact that he's going to be starting. Joe Tippmann, I don't even think they're actually committed to him as the starter over on the Jets side of things, and he was drafted before John Michael Schmitz. And the one thing that he kind of said was that I'm having trouble adapting to the NFL game, like learning that the mental capacity is difficult. And that's something that JMS just thrives with. Like his ability to consume information, spit it out, the pre-snap information, everything he does. That's what makes him such a good player. And we talked about his ceiling. It may be capped somewhere because of his physical limitations, but as a pure floor, it's really high. He has a really, really high floor. His floor is slightly above average, I think. But, you look at Josh Azudu, like you said, essentially a rookie. Mark Lewinsky, he's on this roster. Like, he's not getting cut. He's at the very least he's a very decent depth piece. But he's probably starting at right guard. Ben Bredeson, I think they want Ben Bredeson to be their utility piece. I think they want him to say, like, all right, let's assume Josh Ududa wins left guard. Any injuries that happen, Ben Bredeson can step in immediately. If Ben Bredeson is playing left guard, starting left guard, any injuries happen, they can kick him out to center, kick him out to right guard, and Josh Ududa takes over at left guard. Like, they want him to be that guy who can fill multiple positions at a high enough level, and I think he is capable of that. Andrew Thomas, we know, is a stud. Evan Neal, that's the big question mark. We don't know what Evan Neal is. We don't know what he's going to be. He got beat up pretty badly by Kayvon Thibodeau today. But, you know, it's still like the first day of pads, guys. Like, we don't really know what's going to happen. There's a lot of football left to be played. A lot of reps, a lot of experience, a lot of, you know, applying what he did this offseason to the football field and in actual sessions. Like, this is the first time he's going up against, like, legitimate pass rushers, like, with pads on, and, like, that's a huge difference than without pads. I don't even think they were doing 1v1 drills without pads. So, like, you're seeing, like, legitimate action now. It takes guys time to adjust. This is a process. It's not going to be an overnight thing. Like, Hawkins is a rarity. That's an anomaly among training camp standouts. Like, you know, you don't find corners that suddenly just arrive onto the scene and go from 6th round pick to starting overnight. Like, you know, and working with the first team at the very least. I think he's still well ways away from starting, but the compounding success is certainly there. Offensive line, I'm not worried about it. Of course, in these 1v1 battles, they're at a disadvantage. You know, defense versus offense. You know, the guys attacking know what they're going to do. I'd say, like, in the context of you're an offensive lineman compared to a defensive lineman or a pass rusher, the pass rushers are the one kind of playing offense. They're the aggressors in that mentality. As an offensive lineman, you're playing defense. You're trying to stop them from coming. And ultimately, like, you're at a disadvantage, just like a receiver and cornerback. Like, receivers have an advantage because they know the route they're running. Cornerbacks don't know. That's why Hawkins has been so impressive. But I do feel as though, you know, the offensive line's going to get better. We're going to see steps forward. I trust our coaches. And that kind of rounds out my thoughts on the offensive line. It's way too early to make any determinations. But I was happy to see Andrew Thomas step in and kick some serious ass immediately after that contract.
No, absolutely. I mean, that's what he does, though. Like, that's just what Andrew Thomas does. He kicks ass, he blocks players. Like, that's his thing, and he's damn good at it. That's why he got paid all that money. But one thing that I will say, you know, with Evan Neal struggling first day of pads, okay, so maybe Kayvon Thibodeau beat him on a few reps. But that could just say a lot more about Kayvon Thibodeau than it does about Evan Neal, for what it's worth, guys. I feel like a lot of the hype surrounding Kayvon Thibodeau has kind of gone dormant in recent weeks because the pads haven't been on. But if we're hearing at training camp right now, Kayvon Thibodeau is just beating opposing offensive linemen and getting pressures, why are we spinning the narrative and saying, oh no, Evan Neal's struggling? Let's spin it the other way. Let's say Kayvon Thibodeau is dominating. We know that Thibodeau's in store for a big second season. He said last week that he watched the film. He was disgusted by it. He cringed at his rookie film. He's ready to go in his sophomore year. And so I think the main takeaway there, between that little battle between Neal and Thibodeau, the takeaway should be Kayvon Thibodeau, year 2 breakout. It's coming. Get ready for it. I cannot freaking wait. So Evan Neal, I'm sure he'll turn it around. He made a lot of changes to his technique this offseason. He lost weight. He added muscle. I still believe in the kid, even if he struggled on the first day of pads at training camp. Like, come on, guys, let's be patient with the man, and let's be patient with all of these Giants players. You know, Deonte Banks, we've heard that he struggled here and there, but that's normal. You know, what we're seeing from Trey Hawkins is completely abnormal. It's very rare that a cornerback steps into training camp and makes plays the way that Hawkins is. So, Deonte Banks going through those emotions, having those rookie growing pains, totally normal. That's honestly what you want to see, because you want to see them making the mistakes now rather than later. Deonte Banks, if he's going to make mistakes, I don't want it to happen during the regular season. I want him to learn as much as he can, get beat up as much as he can right now during training camp and during the preseason, so he's ready to go during the regular season. But one last thing that I want to hit on before we wrap up, Alex, Daniel Jones, once again, he was really good today. That's what we're hearing. That's what we're reading. That's what we're seeing online, right? Daniel Jones was out there slinging it again. Now, was he as good as he was before the pads came on? No. But of course he wasn't. Who would be? Now that the pads are on, there's a different level of intensity, but Daniel Jones still playing good football, still looking like one of the best players on the field. That's something to get excited about. He connected on a couple deep passes apparently to Saquon Barkley, which you love to see. But yeah, Danny Dimes in full effect. Pads off, pads on. He's still throwing those dimes. How are you feeling?
Look, man, Daniel Jones, this is exactly where you want him to be, guys. You want Daniel Jones in the second year of an offensive system. You want him coming off a year where he had a career low interceptions, career low turnovers, and showcasing some confidence. You saw when he had the protection in the pocket, when his receivers were getting open, the guy was capitalizing. Against the Vikings, he looked excellent. Against New Orleans, you know what I mean? Like, this is a player, I think it was actually 2 years ago. Like, God, time goes fast. But, you're actually looking at a player right now that you're establishing the second layer. This is not a situation where the Giants are like firing their coaches again, like overhauling their coaching staff. In fact, it's totally different. Like, they put together a modern offense that wasn't Jason Garrett's 2004 Norv Turner offense. It's brand new. You mash in Brian Dable's concept with Mike Kafka's, and you're getting a brand new creative offense. You put that in place. Now you build off of that. You bring in more players like Darren Waller, Paris Campbell, Jalen Hyatt, all these guys to fuel that and add the second layer. But the foundation is built. Like, they've built the bottom floor. Now you build the second floor. Start adding a couple windows. Things could probably compound pretty fast here. Suddenly you're building the third floor. Suddenly you're building the roof. And then you're building the deck. You're building the lanai. You're building the pool. And suddenly you got a damn house. And the offense is rocking. The offense is high octane. You're running things. And things are looking good. That's ultimately what I hope this offense looks like. You know what I mean? I hope, like, right now, they've built the first floor. Like, the foundation's set. Now you got to build the second floor. You got to just slowly build those things up. You got to get chemistry. You got to build these things. It takes time. But at the end of the day, Daniel Jones has looked excellent during training camp. Like, without the pads on, he was slinging the rock. Today, with the pads on, still slinging the rock, doing well, throwing the deep ball. This offense, I mean, look, in training camp in the past years, I don't remember hearing this much about the deep passes that Daniel Jones was throwing. This guy is slinging it downfield. Like, it is evident. Like, it's something that stood out to me, how many deep throws they've been incorporating into their strategy, into their play calls in training camp so far. Getting downfield, explosive playmaking, big chunk plays. Like, this is going to be the name of the game for the Giants in 2023. This offense is going to be different. The foundation was getting Daniel Jones to know the verbiage and everything that goes into operating it at a high level, the communication aspects. Now you add the play calls. Now you add the actual route trees. You add the players to fit the system. Daniel Jones already knows all of it. He already knows the playbook. You just add the players to actually exercise it. That's where I think we're at right now. They've added the next element. That was just getting the players that actually fit the system. Now we have those guys. I'm super excited about that because Daniel Jones, as long as he's protected, I'm going to keep referencing that throughout the training camp and preseason. As long as the pocket is strong, as long as the offensive line isn't garbage, he is going to have his best season. And I'll stand by that. I think that's where we're looking right now.
Yeah, well, we're standing by it together, Alex. I completely agree with you. Listen, I'm super excited about everything we're hearing from training camp about Daniel Jones, about all the other Giants players, but right now I do feel really confident in Daniel Jones. This is the most confident that I've felt in him during any training camp period. I mean, if you think across the past 4 seasons, when have we been in the training camp talking this highly of Daniel Jones all summer? When have we felt this confident in him going into the preseason? I don't think it's ever happened, so I'm really excited about it. You know, there's a lot to be thrilled about with the New York Giants at training camp right now. Of course, they won't be practicing tomorrow, but they will be back at it on Thursday, and we will not be covering training camp tomorrow, but we will be talking about something here on the channel as we always are, and we will be live streaming on 8 p.m. I believe Wednesday night. We will be here, me and Allie. We're going to be talking about the Giants, so come check us out then. But of course, make sure to leave a like if you did enjoy this episode. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Ring the bell so you don't miss an episode, and comment your thoughts on the topic down below in the comment section. If you're listening on Apple or Spotify, please make sure to leave us a 5-star review and go ahead and follow us on all of our social media channels at Fireside Giants. But without further ado, we will catch you all in the next one. Have a good one, and let's go Giants.